So once you get done with your design, you can use the simulation area to get an idea of not only what it's going to look like, so you get kind of this 3D model that you can move around, but also get an idea of how long it's going to take, as well as what the toolpaths are going to look like. So if you come down here and you hit simulate, then it is going to simulate. In my case, I have a roughing and a detail toolpath. So I have an 1/8 inch bit for my roughing and a 60° for my detail bit. And once it actually gets simulated, you can see there's a bunch of colors in there, but if we play it, you can see they're kind of color coded. So if we let this run, first you can see that we actually get a simulation of our bit. And so there is our 1/8 inch bit right there at the little shadow. And then the red, in this case, is for the first stage. And this is any time that the bit is moving, but it isn't actually cutting. You're gonna see it red for the first stage, and then there'll be a different color for the detail pass. But once we actually get in there and we start cutting, and then blue will actually be the cut pass once it gets going. And then for the detail pass, it actually comes in as green. And again, once it goes in, it's still blue, but the greens are when it's moving in between. So you can kind of get an idea of what those two tool paths are doing and get a really good visual. In this case, this is turned into a cone now that we're using a V-carve bit. But then down here, you are getting estimations on the time. So you're getting 11 minutes for our first pass and then 33 minutes for our second. And if we go in here and make any adjustment to whether to the design or to the actual cut settings, so let's say I come in here and I make my roughing pass a lot faster. Let's say we set it to 80. And then we hit simulate. Then you can see that time drop down to 7 minutes. So this is kind of a live update once you hit that simulate button. But another thing you may notice is after you've simulated it, maybe you just want to get kind of that detail preview again, and you don't want to see all of the toolpaths and the crazy stuff that's going on. So if you click this menu here on the bottom right, and you can actually show and hide different things. First, you can show and hide your material. So if you just want to see the toolpath and what it's going to do, you can see it right there. But you can also turn off the toolpaths. So then you get back to that kind of detailed preview that you had before you actually did the simulation. Or for whatever reason, you could just turn everything off. So you get those toggles right there to go in between. And then you get all of the playback commands where you can fast forward, change the speed, and kind of see how these toolpaths are going to work in the simulation. Now, another nice feature is you can actually see areas that are not going to be able to be carved because of your bit setting. So if I actually switch this away from a 60° bit and then just selected the 1/8 inch bit, then you can see all of those red areas are areas that are too thin. So they're going to be thinner than 1/8 of an inch. And so you will not be able to carve them out. So if we simulate it, you can actually see with the toolpaths where it's going to miss. So those red spots are really good indicators that you're not going to be able to get everything carved out. So then you could go in and add either a smaller bit or you can add a detailed bit so you make sure you get everything out of your design.